Pure, good to see you. How you doing? Evening. How you been? Tor, good to see you. How you doing? Evening. How you been? Pablo, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Scott, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Mav, good evening as well. How you been? How's things? Good evening, Miles and CMF. Orphan, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Hi, how you doing? Hi, Miles and CMF family. Dennis, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Hi, Miles. Can't wait for your views. Let's go. Addy, good to see you. How you doing? Evening, Miles and family. Still can't get a voice to work on the chat. We'll figure it out somehow after the live. Morning, Miles and CMF. Shelly, good to see you. How you doing? Morning. How you been? Good day, Miles. Mike, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Artistic, good to see you. How you doing? Evening. How you been? Good evening, Miles and CMF. Let's go. Artistic. How you been? What is the normal liquidation or something else happen? Was it a normal liquidation or something else happened? To be honest, a lot of things happened, which we're about to go through on tonight's live. A lot of things have been happening around the world. And I did say, for a while I've been saying this, that if the markets do some sort of a downtrend, geopolitical tensions are going to be the one that essentially brings it down. I said two things can happen. It could either be some sort of manipulation and turbulence kind of situation, which was a correction. Also, to add on top of the correction was geopolitical tensions in the Middle East. And it's on a rise at a ridiculous level right now. You know, as a CMF, Jason, good to see you. How you doing? So it was just a liquidation, a normal, essentially correction process, but it also, on top of the correction process, was geopolitical tensions coming out of the Middle East, especially with Israel, the US, Syria, Iran, and even Russia got involved at one point by taking in the leader of Syria, essentially. A lot of things that have been happening that's been adding on weight to the market space. Do you think the markets will recover tomorrow or will continue dumping? It should recover in a very short period of time, is what I would say. Hey, Mouse, today feels like North and South Korea must have fought for this to have happened. Do you think, Yamagata is what you do? Do you think Brad's interview went well, or did they twist the facts about crypto? Brad's interview went terrible, and there was no surprise. So I did say regarding the interview that's going to be coming out with Ripple's CEO on 60 Minutes, I said it could go two ways. I said one could be very good for crypto. They talk about XRP and the interview goes well. I said the other one is it could go completely south, which is what basically happened. The interviewer was not there to give crypto a good image, but they were there to give crypto a bad image just like usual. But I'm not surprised anyways with 60 Minutes in any sort of a way. 60 Minutes is the same program that went against Donald Trump. And what do you think happened there? Donald Trump won the presidential election. So I'm not surprised in any sort of way that news anchors are manipulating the facts, because that is not something that's new in the journalism world. It's something that happens on a daily basis where the news gets twisted. So that whole 60 Minutes interview was not an interview about Ripple or not an interview about XRP, but it was an attack on crypto in general. Hi, Miles and CMF. Good to see you. How you doing? So regarding Brad's interview, and I'm definitely sure 100% they definitely edited that video as well. So the interview that they did with Brad, in my point of view, and even in Brad's point of view, they definitely edited some things out on what he said to make crypto look bad on their sense. Hi, Miles and CMF. George, good to see you. How you doing? Evening, Miles and CMF. Joe, good to see you. How you doing? Evening, Miles, and how you doing? Callie, I'm doing great. How you been? Evening, Miles and CMF. Semper, good to see you. How you doing? Hi, brother. Come on, good to see you as well. How you been? Hi, Miles. Peter, good to see you. How you doing? Funky brother, good evening, brother Miles and CMF family. Good to see you, Funky brother. How you doing? Hi, Miles. Casey, good to see you. How you doing? So let's do a breakdown of what we're going to be talking about on tonight's live, and then we'll do intro and disclaimer. So On tonight's episode of the CMF Live, on episode 219, we're on right now, episode 219, we're going to be talking about the liquidation situation that's been happening inside the crypto space and why it's been happening. And we're going to get some perspectives in from executives and CEOs around the world. We're also going to be talking about Justin Sun on tonight's live as well. Justin Sun essentially has been dumping Ethereum on the side as well regarding this whole situation that's going on. We're also going to be talking about China in terms of their liquidity taps. I've been saying for a while that China is going through essentially a massive bubble, economic crisis type of situation. So we're going to talk about that on tonight's live as well. We're going to be talking about the former US Treasury Secretary making some shocking remarks about essentially Trump's Bitcoin plans. And all this is just adding on what's going on right now already inside the crypto space and the geopolitical tensions that's already happening as well. We're also going to be talking about the blockchain advocates essentially opposing the SEC's reconfirmation of Crenshaw. So I'll explain what that is once we get to that news. We're also going to be going through the news topics of the 3 US economic data points that could also shake up the crypto markets coming out this month. We're going to be talking about tonight's live regarding matters of Cardano, also because Cardano's main X account was compromised during this whole situation. We're also going to be talking about Binance CEO Richard Tang's new perspective on the market space moving forward for the end of the year and 2025. We're going to be going through news topics regarding Amazon on tonight's live as well. Amazon is thinking about shifting their essentially cash reserves to Bitcoin as well. We're also going to be talking about Tether printing essentially $2 billion more USDT to boost liquidity on Ethereum's chain. We're also going to be going through news topics like Michael Saylor coming out and saying that he's never going to stop buying Bitcoin no matter what. We're going to be going through news topics on tonight's live regarding CZ, essentially saying that it's inevitable for China to also build a BTC cash, essentially BTC reserve as well, the same as America's doing, the Donald Trump plan. We're going to be going through a speech that Eric Trump made, Trump's son, at a crypto event in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, essentially, and how it's massive positive for a crypto space. We're going to be talking about BlackRock on tonight's live, boosting their holdings in Bitcoin and Ethereum as the market takes a downtrend. We're going to be going through news topics like Ripple's CEO regarding that essentially interview that was done with the 60-minute interview. And we're going to be going through news topics on the topics of Cardano and XRP and what's in play for their perspective coming from the founder of Cardano. So, mixture of news to go through on tonight's live regarding the interview that was done with Brad, regarding geopolitical tensions, regarding BlackRock, regarding US former treasuries and essentially Tether printing more, liquidation processes, and so on. Mixture of news to go through on tonight's live. But before we go through any of those news topics, and the first news topic we are going to be covering is the $1.4 billion liquidation that's been happening inside the crypto space, is I want to say welcome to the CMF Live. If you're watching this for the first time ever, welcome to the CMF Live. This is episode 219 of the CMF Live. And on this live, I always talk about the most recent things that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, vital information for you to know about regarding the world completely transforming into a digital space. We also do Q&As on this live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. And the disclaimer of this live, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. So, welcome to the CMF Live. You've watched this for the first time ever. I'm your host, as I am every single night on Monday to Friday, Miles. And if you're watching this for the first time, welcome. If you're regular, let's go CMF. And also, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who is right now retweeting this live, who's liking this live, and who's also putting a comment outside the live on this, on X. And thanks so much to everyone on YouTube who's watching this live right now, also liking the video as well, because I'm getting notifications. Thanks so much to everyone that's doing that right now. So, let's go inside the comment section first before we go straight to the first news, which is regarding liquidations and why is all this happening around the world. Never believe what the media shows. Facts. I agree 100%. 100% agree with Orphan. We all getting shivers. What's happening in the markets? I'm about to tell you. Bashar's wife is British consul and has received no request to come to the UK. Hello, Miles and family. Comatose, good to see you. How you doing? There was a 90 minutes of interview with Brad, so they definitely chopped out the positives. They definitely did 100%. In the hindsight, he probably should have agreed to it. He shouldn't have agreed to it. He should have known that it would go south. However, I guess it might make the people think in what essentially XRP had no interviews beforehand. I agree 100%, Shelly. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Free Feather. Good to see you. So how you doing? Sub Miles and family. I say don't trip by the dip. Let's go, Davey. How you doing? Miles. Ian says, Miles, International Monetary Fund has confirmed that digital currencies must be gold backed. Is this true? No. I haven't heard this from the International Monetary Fund. It's probably something that's spinning around X right now. Miles, I've heard that XRP can go as low as $1.20 support line. It's possibility, but no. For the time being, I wouldn't say we're gonna have, bumps and dumps, but not something drastic like that. It's a possibility if everybody starts dumping at the same time, but what's the chance of that happening? Because if someone's dumping, someone's buying. Microsoft is voting tomorrow about adapting Bitcoin for reserves. That is true. Microsoft is voting tomorrow to add Bitcoin to their balance sheets or not. In most cases, they probably could. I mean, MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor is the one trying to advocate for this to happen. And we all know why he's advocating for it, because his company is going to make a lot more money. But I understand also why he's doing it. You have to have big to be in crypto at the moment. Butch, elaborate on that. That shaking is good to buy. Yes, it is. Thoughts on Pulse Chain? I haven't got that for a very long time regarding Pulse Chain. Pulse Chain is the easiest way I could put it to you. Hex or Pulse Chain in general is a scam. Easiest way I could put it to you, verified value. I would suggest essentially moving off that and going to more legitimate crypto assets that are going to be beneficial when the rules and regulations are going to be coming in January 20th onwards due to a new SEC chairman. So it's better for yourself if you move on from that project. Stick to more legitimate crypto asset projects. Crypto is for criminals law. Casey, yeah, definitely law. Okay, so a lot of things have been happening around the world, especially today. A lot of things have been happening. We have the Brad interview that went completely south. I was not shocked about the 90-minute interview in any sort of a way, because it's the media. The media is well known for manipulating facts and twisting words. I mean, that entire program that they did essentially was the same interview that they did with Donald Trump. The same program, Brad went on to talk about Ripple and the hardships of cryptocurrencies and how Gary Gensler is a pathetic, useless waste of space. And I was not shocked in any sort of way that the news anchors of that program twisted these words and cut some things out. It's the same thing they did with essentially Trump. But Trump at the end won essentially the presidential election. So I'm not surprised in any sort of a way about that whole Brad interview at all. And I did say it could go two ways. I said it could either go very well, where he talks about XRP, the interview goes good, or I said it could go completely south, and it went south. Now, the first topic. Hi, Miles and CMF. Stormy, good to see you. How you doing? Over $1.4 billion worth of crypto long positions were liquidated in the past hour. $1.4 billion was liquidated from the market space in the past hour. The cryptocurrency markets experienced a significant downturn on Monday, essentially following the gradual decline over the weekend. Bitcoin fell to just above $95,000, marking a 5% decrease within 24 hours, while Ethereum saw a more substantial drop of 10%. This decline triggered essentially the liquidation of over $1.4 billion in leveraged derivative positions from bullish investors, indicating a sharp market correction and of previous essential volatility seen earlier in August and last Thursday. Here's a different perspective as well from analysts from essentially crypto companies and non-crypto companies. They've all came out giving some sort of different perspectives on the market space, but on similar lines. Analysts, for example, from 10x Research noted a decrease in trading volumes and a profit taking by long-term holders, suggesting a potential consolidation phase in the market space before moving on the uptrend. Marcus, the firm's founder, expressed optimism that this phase might be temporarily, urging traders to focus on high conviction positions while avoiding weaker segments as the market dynamics shift. Additionally, the traders in the options markets are adjusting their strategies, anticipating sideways price movements through the end of the year. Digital asset, essentially hedge fund QCP, also highlighted that while they maintain a bullish outlook for the further future, they expect essentially spot prices to stabilize during the holiday seasons. Overall, the current market conditions reflect a cautious approach among traders, emphasizing the importance of strict positionings in a fluctuating environment, which I 100% agree with. Look, there were a lot of things happening. I'll lay some things on you that were happening right now. One was there was too many long positions open on the market space. I've said for the longest time, when there are too many long positions open on these exchanges and people are doing leverage trading, for example, 5x leverage trading, 10x, 50x, or 100x, depending on the exchange they use for futures trading, there were too many positions open on long, essentially, on long positions, on too many X's, 50x or 100x. And these exchanges will never pay out to ridiculous sums of money. So that had to be corrected, which it did. $1.4 billion was liquidated in the past hour. So that was one thing that was essentially needed to happen, which was the correction. Exchanges are not going to be paying out that many long positions. You can always tell when there's too many open positions of leverage positions on long positions. Same thing happens when there's too many short positions open as well. The exchanges, tend to come together and liquidate everybody, because they're not going to be paying out those ridiculous sums of money. Now, putting the essential liquidation to side and the correction to side, because the market has been on the uptrend and the correction was needed for us to move further higher now. Putting that to one side, we also have geopolitical tensions going on. Now, the geopolitical tensions that are rising out of the Middle East is not really helping the markets either, with the whole Israel, US, and Syria situation. Now, yes, Syria is freed from their dictating leader, who also ran away to Moscow. 100% that's good news for Syrian people, but it is affecting the market space as well, the crypto market space and the stock market space, to be fairly honest. Now, that geopolitical tension is not going to be coming to an end in any sort of a way, because now that Syria is out the way, the next war that's going to be happening is either going to be happening a domestic war or an international war. What I mean by that is Iran. Iran is next. And I did say that from now until January 20th, a geopolitical tension can happen. I said the Biden administration can make geopolitical tensions happen from now, starting until January 20th, before Trump takes his seat. And that's exactly what we're seeing, geopolitical tensions happening in the Middle East. So the next war that's a possibility of happening, and then that can also bring the markets down, is Iran. Iran could either be a domestic war, where they do it from the inside as an operation to overthrow the leaders of Iran, or it could be an international war, which will have bigger impact on the market space. So keep that in mind as well. The next war that could essentially outrise from the Middle East is going to be in Iran versus Israel. Either a domestic war where it's within Iran, or it's going to be an international type of situation. So keep that one in mind as well. Now, the next thing that's also been on the crypto space, the correction is one thing that's hurting the market right now, which was needed. The geopolitical tensions are adding more onto the market space. The situation in South Korea is not really calming down in any sort of a way. That's adding more pressure to the market space. And on top of that, we have the Brad interview that obviously the news anchors didn't do any sort of positivity for the crypto space, which I'm not surprised in any sort of a way. CBS being positive about crypto. CBS was negative about crypto, negative about Trump, negative anything to do with Trump and his policies. Everybody at CBS knows that essentially Donald Trump is pro-crypto. His cabinets are pro-crypto. He's creating a pro-crypto department in the US government. He's hiring Elon Musk alongside Vivek Ramsey, essentially creating a Doge essentially component, and they're trying to bring in regulations, make America capital of crypto. So CBS is fully aware of all of this, and they do an interview with Brad. And I could bet you any money that interview that everybody saw was not the actual full interview, because they edit bits out. 100% they edit bits out to make crypto look bad. That was not an interview about what hardships Ripple went through, what difficulties Ripple went through, what difficulties the crypto space went through with Gary Gensler being the SEC chairman. It was more like an attack on crypto. That interview essentially seemed very similar to the interviews that CBS normally does with Donald Trump. Have you seen the interviews that CBS does with Donald Trump? It's just attacking the man for every instance. And the same thing happened with Brad. So I was not surprised in any sort of a way. But here's essentially the positive outlook. That CBS interview that Donald Trump did, that 60-minute interview that Donald Trump essentially did with CBS and so on, guess who won at the end? Trump, because now he's the president of the United States. Same thing with Ripple. Guess who's going to win this run? Ripple. This is also going to win, XRP. So I'm not surprised in any sort of way that 60-minute interview went. I said to everyone, it could either go very good when they talk about XRP, it could go very south. It ended up going south instead of positive. But again, I'm not surprised. It's journalism. Journalists are not really the most brightest bulb in any situation, to be fairly honest. They're just people that get essentially a piece of paper to read some questions out from their bosses. And in typical situations, it's always attack the person. But if it was a different, essentially, topic, if it was a topic about liberals, that 60-minute interview will be positivity and happiness and everybody handing out cookies and milk. if it was about liberalism. But if it's been about crypto or Donald Trump, all of a sudden it's just World War III situations where the interviewer is just attacking anyone in front of them. This is basically what happens. So I'm not surprised in any sort of way that we're going that 60-minute interview at all. Now, these are all the situations that's happening around the world. We have the South Korean situation. The market needed a correction. The market needed a correction before it phases up and goes higher. But we have the South Korean situation happening, which is not calming down, and the biggest buyers of XRP in South Korean market spaces. But we also have, the geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, and Iran be the next war to start off, and the Brad interview on top of that. And on top of that, we also found her essentially their ex profile getting compromised in the situation like this. But we're going to go more detail on all of those topics on tonight's live as well. But the positive outlook on all of this, let's not forget the bigger picture, which is essentially rules and regulations are coming in 2025 for the crypto space, which is massive. Rules and regulations leads to banks and institutions coming in, taking their money with them. So in 2025, we still have things to look forward to because of Trump. We still have essentially rules and regulations to look forward to: a new SEC chairman, a new FDIC chairman, a crypto department, banks and institutions, more ETFs for altcoins, America becoming a crypto hub of capital, a crypto hub of cryptocurrencies. And also on top of that, we have the world market following America's footsteps into also becoming some sort of a crypto hub in their own jurisdictions. So we have so much positivity to look forward to, which this little downtrend should not be shaking anybody. And I've said this, on a tweet before I went live, about 20 minutes or 10 minutes before I went live. I sent out a tweet and I said, this isn't the stock market. This is the crypto market. When we see 10% dips, 20% dips, we run towards them. In the stock market, if they have a 3% dip, everybody starts panicking and selling off. In the crypto markets, we've seen 40% dips and we don't give a S. We run towards them like there's no tomorrow. So if anybody out there is sweating in any sort of a way on this scenario, this is the crypto markets. We see 20% dips on projects that we know due to licensings, due to the regulations coming in, due to the partnerships they have and contracts in place. We know they're going to be doing excellent in 2025 and beyond. We're running towards them when we see 40% to 20% to 10% dips. So if you are new inside the crypto space, you should not be panicking in any sort of way. If you're regular inside the crypto space, we've seen worse. Now, before we go through the next news, let's go inside the comment section first. On there, and then we go straight into the next news. Good evening, Miles. And then we're going to go in more detail about those topics that I've just discussed as well. Lena, good to see you. How you doing? Evening. The positive things that they said is that XRP is the third largest crypto asset. Yes. Do you think they will take Trump out before the Electoral College meets December 17th? I don't think. I mean, if the difficult question to answer, but it would be a stupid move if they did. Is what I would say. It'd be a very stupid move if they did. I think Iraq before Iran, it's one and the same, but Iran's dogs is basically the leaders in Iraq. I agree 100% regarding what Camel said. All 60 Minutes did was make themselves look like fools in the long run. Facts, what Stormy has said. Hi, Mr. Miles and CMF. Golden Dragon, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Brad said his interview was over 90 minutes long. Yep, and they essentially edited the best parts out. Miles, I love and respect you, but unless it seems to be that Donald Trump's favor, you appear to be very negative. The negativity happens for and against Trump. Miles, I love and respect you, but unless it seems to be in Donald Trump's favor, you appear to be very negative. Unless it's in favor of Donald Trump's favor? Scott, good to see you. How you doing? And Pfizer's commercials throughout the interview, not surprised about that one either. They showed not even 5 minutes of it. By that dip, I agree, but not financial advice in any sort of way. I guess I'm a criminal. I'm all in on XRP. Let's go, Scott. Now, Justin Sun. To add also on top of all of this, regarding geopolitical tension, interview, and everything, Justin Sun dumps $119 million in Ethereum as the price is not doing too well. Justin Sun, the founder of Tron, executed a transfer of 29,920 Ethereums, valued at $119.7 million to HTX, following Ethereum's essentially movements. The transaction has sparked discussions regarding Sun's strategy, whether he's cashing out or setting stage for additional profits. Justin Sun acquired essentially 397,474 ETH for the price of 1.1 billion at essentially an average price of $3,027 between February and August, where he purchased originally. Fast forward to December, he appears to be profit-taking. He recently deposited 20,000 ETH, valued at $76.3 million to HTX exchange. Precisely on December, the transaction happened just as ETH was moving. Later on, December 8th, Justin Sun also deposited 29,000 ETH worth of $119.7 million to HTX as per spot on chain, following the Ethereum price surpassing essentially. And with Ethereum's crossings and movements, it estimated that Justin Sun has generated a profit of $366 million exclusive stakings and rewards and airdrops. The Tron founder has also transferred 41,630 Ethereum to centralized exchanges. Since early November, was an ETH being sent to HTX and 2,630 Ethereum being sent to essentially Polynex, another essentially exchange. In addition, Justin Sun also deposited and staking rewards of HTX. In other words, it's just a list of Justin Sun getting prepared to sell off an incredible worth of assets. He's getting it ready to essentially sell off his DOT, his Tron, his Shiba, some XLM, some VET, some File, some Fetch. Justin Sun is adding more to this situation as well. Now, he did sell some of them off about 2 days ago. The market slowly started a downtrend, but it also seemed like he was preparing for some sort of a downtrend, which happened. The $1.4 billion liquidation happened. Now, adding on all of that on top, China. We also have the China situation, where China eventually is going towards a massive bubble slowing down, where China is going towards a massive bubble, which is this essentially. Is China opening up their liquidity taps? Allegations of economic situations. China has signaled significant economic in its 2025, essentially marking a significant shift in stance. The announcement, which underlies the readiness to support the country's slowing economy, shows that the Beijing administration entered a new period of fiscal strategies. China's top policy makings, essentially monetary policy, would shift. I don't know why it's freezing. 1 second, everyone. Mouse, you keep on freezing. Yeah, I don't know why it's freezing. Freezing. Anyone have audio issues? It's lagging and freezing. I don't know why it's lagging and freezing. Choppy. I don't know what's happening. Hello, CMF. I hope that you had a good. Let's go, Scott. Back to normal now. Can everybody hear me? Yes, freezing and lagging also. Audio problems again tonight. Freezing. Should be fixed now. It's because the device I was using was. Is it fixed now? I'm going to restart the live. I'm going to restart the live.